why emotion is important and how we can get stuck or have problems with our emotions. So human beings have emotions because they developed them, or our ancestors developed them over time because they helped our ancestors to survive. And so over millions of years of animal and human evolution, we developed various kinds of emotions. Some of the earliest emotions developed were, for example, fear, and then things like love and compassion developed more recently in our past. And so now we have a full range of emotions. And so emotions are quite important to us, but, and specifically emotions are important in three ways. First, emotions have information. Emotions point to important situations in our lives. So every different kind of emotion points to something important happening in the situation around us, in our environment. So if we're angry, it tells us that something, some boundary of ours is being violated. Or could be our person, our children, our property, but something is infringing on that boundary, and anger tells us that. Sadness tells us that we've lost something, we've lost a connection. Love tells us we're in the presence of a highly valued object, and so on. And so emotions point to important things in our lives, and they have information for us. So that means if we are not in touch with our emotions, then we are losing valuable information. We are being cut off from our situations, and we will not be able to cope as well because we won't have the input that we need. Emotions are also important because they give us a sense of continuity or direction in our life. So part of how I recognize who I am and over time is by the quality of my emotions, the quality of maybe the sadness I feel at being slightly separate from other people. I recognize that from my childhood, my adolescence, my adulthood. And so emotions are important because they give us a sense of continuity or wholeness, a sense of being a whole self, which is important for human beings so we don't feel so fragmented. And the third way that emotions are important is that they connect to action. They help us, prepare us for action. The word emotion basically means what puts us in motion, what moves us forward. And so if we know what we're feeling, then we can figure out what we need, what that emotion is, what need that emotion's pointing to, what we need in our lives, what needs to happen because of the emotion. And so the emotions point to needs or wants, and if we know what we need or want, we can figure out how to get those needs or wants met. So if we don't have access to the emotions, we don't know what we need, and we can't figure out what to do. And that means that people who have severely blocked their emotions or constrained them, or people who have suffered injuries to the part of their emotions where they experience emotions, those people lose the ability to make choices in their lives, and they feel lost and aimless. So emotions give us a sense of continuity, they give us information about their situation, and they help move us to action. Those are three ways in which emotions are important to us and are valuable and even essential for us being human and navigating through our lives. But people get stuck in their emotions. They have different kinds of difficulties with their emotions. And they have three main kinds of difficulties, I believe, with their emotions. The first of those difficulties is the emotions can get out of whack. It's like your emotional thermostat gets set too high, in which case you're stiflingly hot, and you're overwhelmed with the heat in your house, for example. Or the emotions can be turned down too low. So the emotional thermostat can be turned way, way down, and then you're kind of cut off. It's as if you're kind of emotionally frozen, and you get cut off from your emotions. So emotions can get out of whack either by being too low or turned down too much, so they're blocked, in which case you don't have the information, you lose the sort of impulse to action, and the sense of continuity I was talking about, or the emotions can be too much. They can feel overwhelming. We can feel like they're just in our face, and that it's not that we're having the emotion is having us. We're in the grip of a powerful fear or an overwhelming sadness, and we just get stuck and can't get out. And so sometimes the emotion is too much, and we need to find a way of moderating or containing or pulling back from that really strong or painful emotion. That's one way we get stuck in our emotions. We can also get stuck in our emotions if we don't fully develop them. Emotions connect to all the experiences we have, to our sense of the situation, to our body, to our minds and how we symbolize experiences, to our actions. So emotions tie all that together, and if we don't fully elaborate emotions, there'll be pieces missing from them, and we can get stuck because we're not able to get out all the information and all the different aspects of the emotions. That's another way. And the third way we get stuck in our emotions is if we have one emotion that fits the situation, and then we do something we react against that emotion, and we block it with another emotion. So another emotion basically comes in and sits on top of or interferes or stops the first emotion. For example, if I have a quarrel with my partner over something, about when dinner's going to be ready or who's doing what, then I might feel anxious or afraid that the relationship's gonna go downhill, everything will fall apart. And so I might start feeling afraid or anxious, but then instead of working with the fear and examining it and reflecting on it, seeing what it needs, I might get angry instead. I might get angry at the fear, and that anger is going to come out either as anger towards myself for being weak and afraid, or it might come out as anger at my partner for causing me to be afraid. And so then I might go pick a fight with her, or I might get depressed and pull back into myself. And if I've just had a fight with my partner, me pulling back and pouting and being depressed, or me picking a fight with her, either of those things are going to not help the situation at all. In fact, they'll make it worse. So we can get into trouble if we let another emotion come along and cover up the most important or useful emotion. So we can get stuck on our emotions, by not fully processing them, by letting them get too much or too little, or by allowing another emotion to come and basically shut down the most useful emotion.